Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome back to yet another video. Today we're going to be looking at some of the items that you're going to want to have with you in the case of a hurricane, or if you're going to be sitting in your house and you can't leave, or even if you're going to be like surviving in the woods. You can adapt this list to basically any situation. Let's get into it. Also, one other thing before we get into the video, we're trying to hit 1,000 subscribers by the end of the year. Right now we're at 213 subscribers at the time of this filming. So don't forget to go down below and hit the subscribe button if you enjoyed the video. First up on our list, we have food. You're gonna wanna have 3 days worth of food for every single person in your household. So that would be like if you have 4 people, you're gonna wanna have 3 days of food for 4 people. If that makes sense. Yeah. You also don't want to forget to have some way to cook that food. Next up we have water. The suggested amount that you should have is 1 gallon a day per person in your household for 3 days, and that's for cooking, cleaning, hygiene, all that stuff. Just so you know, 3 days is the minimum. You could have more of that, but definitely do not have less. If you are using bottled water, don't forget to change that out every year or so, because you don't want to have that stale water that's been absorbing the plastic and all that. One thing cool that I found this past week was that if you don't want to have that hassle of changing out that water and everything, you can actually buy water in these pouches. So this is good for up to 5 years, and it's for drinking. I will link that down in the description below. You should also have some sort of filtration device. I really like the Life Straw a lot because it's super lightweight, and it's really cool because you just suck on one end of it and you put the other one in your water that you're trying to drink, and it'll filter a lot of stuff out of it. And they're not really that expensive. Costco sells them for $50 for 4 of them, I believe. So it's $50 for your life basically, so I highly recommend the Life Straw. I also really recommend that you have some sort of water purification tablets. This is a 2-step process. You put the purification in there, and then you put the neutralizing one in there, because these are based with iodine. This just takes out the flavor, or the flavor of the iodine in there. So this will filter, it's 50 tablets, and each one of them, you put 2 of them into 1 quart. So 25 quarts of water, that's really not that bad. Next up we have lighting. You're gonna wanna have some lanterns. I got these from Costco. They're really good because they just pop up when you wanna use them. And then they take 3 AA batteries, so you're gonna want to also have batteries in your house or in your survival bag. Rechargeable ones are good, but don't forget that when the power goes out, you're not gonna be able to recharge those batteries. You also are gonna wanna have some candles and waterproof matches so that if it gets wet, they'll still be able to start. They actually have stormproof matches that you could actually put underwater, and it's gonna keep on burning. So that is pretty cool. You also wanna have a whistle so that you can signal for help if you need it. Walkie-talkies are good to have with you if you have someone on the other end who has another walkie-talkie, because you know that people are not really monitoring the channels on here. There used to be some sort of volunteer group that used to monitor channel 16 on the walkie-talkie, but you shouldn't really rely on that. If you have your mobile phone, use your mobile phone. These are really not that trustworthy or reliable, because anybody could be listening to your conversation as well. In addition to that lantern that I had you put in your bag before, you're gonna wanna have a flashlight. This is made by Olight. It's the Warrior X Turbo, and I just got this a couple weeks ago maybe, and I really like it. It's super bright. Whoa, I just blinded the camera. Yeah, it's super bright. At nighttime, this has a throw of half a mile. So that is really far. That's about 2,000 feet, I think. That is very impressive. When you're buying a flashlight, you're gonna wanna make sure that you look at the throw distance, because the lumens doesn't really matter. But I got a flashlight off of Amazon maybe a year ago, and it was 1,000 lumens, and it barely even lit up the room at all. So this one, it lights up the whole thing, maybe there's 3 light bulbs on. So that is very impressive. So you wanna look at that throw distance. This is 1,200 lumens. I highly recommend it. I'll link it down in the description. Another cool thing about this flashlight is that you can just have this magnetic charger that it just snaps on there. So you don't have to unscrew it like that and take out this giant battery. The batteries are replaceable as well. They're rechargeable. And that's really cool. Next up we have first aid. You're gonna wanna have a good first aid kit that you could put in your bag or keep in your house, because it's always good to have something like that, because you never know what's going to happen. And now we're getting to the fun stuff, the survival gear. This is the Bear Grylls survival knife. I really like it because it has a metal piece down here at the bottom. It's a fixed blade as well, so you don't have to be worried about it folding back on your hand or anything. I've had this knife for maybe 6 years and it hasn't failed me yet. I don't think they make it anymore though, but I'll link to a comparable one down in the description below. In the case for this knife, it's really cool because there's a built-in sharpener right there. And there's also a fire steel on it. We'll talk more about that later. A good pair of sturdy gloves is also always a good thing to have. Next we have duct tape. Duct tape is really good because it can be used to seal up cuts, I believe, in a pinch, and it can also be used as fire starter. So I'm gonna be playing a video right now, and it's very impressive how you just open up some of it and you just light it on fire and it'll burn for a considerable amount of time, enough for you to get your dry tinder and to be able to start that fire. A pro tip, take it off of the big roll and just roll it up on itself. It takes up a lot less space. This is about 10 feet or 15 feet of duct tape, so that's really a good thing to have. Next we have rope. I use paracord because it's lightweight and it's very strong. One strand of this can hold 550 pounds, hence the name 550 paracord. Inside, you have 8 separate strands, and each one of those can hold 35 pounds, and all put together, it holds 550 pounds. This is 100 feet right here, so this is not really that heavy, and it's only a foot long maybe. So that's a good thing to have with you, because you never know when you're going to need some sort of rope. For our last section, we have shelter and warmth. So it's very good to have a thermal blanket. It takes up very little space. It can be used as a reflector to signal for help. And it's also a really warm, lightweight option in case you're in a cold environment, or even at nighttime it can get really cold. So a thermal blanket, it's a good thing to have. It's also a really good idea to have a rain poncho, because when it gets wet outside, you're gonna end up getting wet as well. And that really lowers your body temperature a lot. So stay dry and get a rain poncho. Hand and body warmers are also a good thing to have. And now a couple of bonus items. It's a good idea to have cash and small bills. I saw somewhere that you should have about $3,000 or enough to support your family for 1 month if you can't make any money. So $3,000 in cash, it's a good thing to have as well. It's also a good idea to have eyeglasses if you need them, or even just regular protective glasses, because you never know what could happen. It's always a good idea to just have that. And also a change of clothing for each person in your house. If you're going to be out of the house, you never know what you're going to need. And also, if you're in a survival situation, it's a good idea to have a change of clothes. It's a good idea to have a little bit extra toilet paper in your house, because we've all seen what happens when people get worried and they think that the world's gonna end, so they go and buy toilet paper. So it's a good idea to have a little bit extra. If you're gonna be in a bug out situation and all you have is your survival bag, they actually sell toilet paper capsules. So you add them to water and then they unravel and they give you a sheet of toilet paper. So that's something to consider. I'll link to that as well below. All right, that's the end of the video. If you liked it, don't forget to leave me a like down below. Don't forget to subscribe if I helped you. We're trying to reach 1,000 subscribers, as I said, by the end of the year. So I'd really appreciate it if you were to subscribe. And leave a comment down below if I forgot anything that you think should be in anybody else's survival bags or in their house in the time of emergency situation. So I guess that's it. I'm out. It's a good thing it's a trainer.